What does the death of Yahya Sinwar mean for the war in Gaza?
Pinti, thank you for having me join you. I'll tell you what it means immediately. I heard the news. As the news came on, a loud uproar came from across the street. That's a family which had lost a soldier fighting this war against this evil terrorist regime. So the first essence that we have is, of course, justice. This was an evil killer that was given multiple ways out to avoid the destruction of his own people, not having induced killing of 1,200 of my people. He never took that route, and he paid the price, as others have paid the price, like Nasrallah, like Daesh, like other terrorists. The Prime Minister has made crystal clear this evening that this will be the end of terrorists that seek to threaten Israel, whether close to us or even a little bit more further afield. We will defend ourselves while always having one hand out to peace. We will defend ourselves, but this war will be over when we get our 101 hostages home safely. Unfortunately, many of them are dead, but many are still alive.
Is this going to be a moment for peace? Benjamin Netanyahu a moment ago said the war continues. Is this going to change things, or will Israel continue the bombardment of Gaza?
The Prime Minister made clear just this evening that this is the beginning of the end, because 101 of our hostages still remain in Gaza. We will continue to fight until we bring them all home. The Prime Minister made a remarkable offer this evening. He said to those Hamas terrorists holding our hostages, he says, set the hostages free and you can leave the territory with your life.
Who do you negotiate with? Without Sinwar, who do the Israelis negotiate with to get those hostages back?
Well, of course, for over a year now, we've been trying to negotiate with Sinwar, and it hasn't worked, except for a brief moment in November when we managed to bring our hostages home. This is a genocidal terrorist organization that doesn't abide to the same norms as other societies. They're genocidal. They wish to destroy us. Katie, one thing which you guys don't seem to get in the States, when they say they wish to wipe this country off the face of the earth, we believe them. Iran are backing them. That's why we need to fight for our survival, but we are making tremendous progress. One by one, we are taking down these terrorists.
I understand that. You've taken down Hanaya, you've taken down Nasrallah, you've taken down now Sinwar. Who do you negotiate now with? You said you have one hand out toward peace. Who do you negotiate now with to get that peace? Who can the Israelis talk to get the hostages back? Certainly the hostage families are calling for an immediate end to this so that they can get their loved ones home. They're very worried about retaliation in the face of the killing of Sinwar.
The hostages are first and foremost. The Prime Minister made clear this evening that they are our highest priority. He used the word highest priority. Now, the Prime Minister made an unprecedented offer. He said, set them free and you can leave with your life. That is an unprecedented offer. Now, this is the first day of the day after Hamas. There will come a time when Gaza can be led by Gazans that do not wish the destruction of Israel. That is what we're asking for. We're looking for partners in the outside world. Some of them have come forward. I'm not going to name them this evening, but there are, of course, nations, moderate Arab nations in our region that wish to support the future of the Gazans. But Gaza can no longer be run by elements that wish to destroy this country.
That's very interesting what you're talking about. I was just talking about it with Ayman, and we heard the other week the Jordanian foreign minister say that the Arab nations surrounding Israel can guarantee Israel's security. Are you working with the Jordanians, with the Egyptians, with the Qataris, with the Kuwaitis to find a way to scaffold what's left of Gaza so that there can be a two-state solution? There can be peace, that Gaza can be run by Gazans?
The Prime Minister's already made clear that Gaza should be run by Gazans. It shouldn't be run by Israel. In the short term, it may have to be, but in the longer term, we don't want to run Gaza. That's for Gazans to run their own life, but Gazans that wish to live with us in peace, not Gazans that wish to destroy us. Nasrallah and the other terrorists like Sinwar sought to portray themselves as lions, as guardians of the Palestinian future. They brought nothing but destruction to their own people. This was a war designed by Sinwar himself to bring destruction to his own people. There can be a better future for Gazans and for Israelis, but of course, the bare minimum must be that our nation state can no longer be under threat from these terrorist organizations that wish to destroy us, with Iran the key principal backer.
I began this show by noting what Sinwar had said in an Israeli prison to a dentist, that he was willing to sacrifice 10, 20, 100,000 people for his cause of eradicating Israel. You just mentioned a moment ago that Israel might need to be in Gaza to run Gaza for the short term. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, the Prime Minister over the last year has set out his vision for the day after Hamas. We're getting closer to that day. But ultimately, as I say, it will be run by Gazans that do not wish us harm, that wish to provide a better future for their own people. Gaza has been flooded by international money, well-meaning money, but unfortunately, that money has been sunk into terrorism, building a terror network, a tunnel network bigger than the London Underground or the New York subway, instead of building up Gaza with better schools and hospitals and roads and better future for their children. There is a tremendous amount of brainwashing which has happened in Gaza to Gazans. It'll take a while to take forward that de-radicalization.
Can Israel do that, or should other Arab states be in charge of that? Do you think Israel can, as you said, de-radicalize? Do they have the goodwill to de-radicalize people in Gaza who've suffered bombardment now? And I'm not laying blame at anyone's feet, but who have suffered bombardment now for a year?
Well, first things first, let's make clear that it's Sinwar that started this war. Yeah. There was a ceasefire on October the 6th. He started this disastrous war for his own people, let alone my people. But ultimately, look, if it's Israel that's taking forward this de-radicalization point, then it'll be dead on arrival. So it must be Gazans themselves, it must be other moderate Arab states that seek a better future for ordinary Gazans, not through battle, through trying to tunnel under us, through sending us rockets. We don't want to run Gazans' lives. The Prime Minister's made that crystal clear. He couldn't have been any clearer. We are in discussions with other Arab neighbours in our neighbourhood to provide a better future for ordinary Gazans. But the bare minimum must be two things. It's not Hamas or anyone connected to Hamas, and also that they do not wish to destroy our country. This cannot be a better future for Gaza, cannot be a stopgap on the way to the next attempted invasion of Israel.
What can you tell me about what you currently know about the remaining hostages? Do you know how many who might still be alive? Do you know where they might be? Do you know why they might not have been around Yahya Sinwar? There was talk that he was surrounding himself with hostages to keep himself safe.
Katie, Sinwar was running away like the filthy terrorist he is. He was saving his own skin. And of course, all of us need to remember that it's Hamas which took these hostages and is still holding them. We unfortunately know that at least 36 of them are no longer alive, killed by Hamas. Some of them taken as dead bodies on October the 7th. Some of them UNRWA employees who took those dead bodies on October the 7th. But we know that the others are alive. Some of them we think are close by him in Rafah, in other parts of Gaza as well. Let's not forget that the whole world, as the Prime Minister made clear this evening, said we should not go into Rafah. All eyes on Rafah, said the social media memes. We went into Rafah because that's where the leadership of Hamas was, and we are taking them apart one by one. But the Prime Minister said this evening, it is our highest priority to get our people home. It's an open sore in Israeli society. All of us here, and I think all well-meaning people around the world, feel the pain of those families. I myself pass them every day and see the pain in their eyes. It's a human rights outrage that 1 year on, these people are still being held by Hamas. But the Prime Minister couldn't have been any clearer this evening. He made an offer. I've never heard the Prime Minister make this offer before. He said, set the hostages free and you'll escape with your lives. So if anyone from Hamas are watching this program right now, in the terror dungeons, inside Gaza, holding our hostages, you have an opportunity, endorsed by the Prime Minister. Set our people free and you will escape with your life.
Does this change plans for the retaliatory strikes against Iran?
I tell you, Katie, I don't like that word retaliatory. I prefer the word defense. 2 weeks ago, we were hit by 181 ballistic missiles. No other country has ever faced a ballistic barrage from any country. It's Iran, of course. Iran say to us openly they wish to destroy our country. Iran backed Sinwar. Iran trained Sinwar. The fighters, the tactics which Hamas have used over the last year are Iranian tactics. So we know that this is behind all of this evil. And I'll be straight with you, Katie. Israel knows precisely how to defend itself against Iran. We do not seek war with Iran. Our Minister Ron Dermer for Strategic Affairs has made that very clear. The Iranian people themselves are very much victims of the Iranian regime, but the regime itself seeks to destroy this country. We will not let that happen, and we know precisely how to defend ourselves.